this could be a massive problem and in fact could give Labour a free pass to do whatever they want. Let's begin. Now, of course, when people say MPs, a lot of people associate that word with tossers and say that most of them care about themselves or their party rather than the country. However, there have been a few good ones over the years. People like Jacob Rees-Mogg and obviously Nigel Farage and Richard Tice who are in there at the moment. And for MPs who hold the government to account and vote against them when they're trying to do something or appear to be trying to do something, shall I say, that is against what we voted for. So it's important that these MPs actually remain in place, but it appears that Labour have actually come up with a plan, a very sneaky plan in my opinion, to make them all quit. And I say that because according to this article it says that Nigel Farage and other MPs could be banned from hosting television news programmes as part of a crackdown on parliamentarians' second jobs. And I know I can hear you all in the comments now saying things like, "Oh really? Well, don't you think they should be in Parliament all the time? Oh, I hate this smug one." And yes, obviously, admittedly, Parliament should be their main focus. Just think about the salaries for a moment. And don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to say for a minute that MPs aren't paid very much at all. They are on a whacking amount, £90,000 with the Spencers as well. However, remember that these television programmes can pay them substantially more. And there will be a few MPs out there who more than likely just see pound signs. Hopefully Nigel Farage will just give them the virtual middle finger and stay on as an MP, because let's face it, he's been wanting to be in Parliament his whole entire life. There are bound to be some MPs out there who will think, well, sod this, I'll just host my TV show. Or whatever other second jobs are going to also be banned. And just think how you'd feel for a minute if you couldn't do a second job. I mean, admittedly, there are quite a lot of people out there who don't do second jobs. I myself have a main job as well as doing my YouTube. And obviously I pay tax on both. And so does everyone else who works second jobs, including these MPs. And I don't know about you, but as long as Parliament and being an MP is their first priority and the second job takes a back seat, then I really don't see what the problem is in MPs having a second job. Especially as some of those MPs might actually want to stick up for us and hold the government to account. Whereas, of course, if they decided to just stick with their second job and leave being an MP, then they won't be able to do that anymore, will they? The move was apparently announced this morning by a newly convened Commons Moderation Committee set up by the new Labour government as push to reform the House, or, in my opinion, get rid of what I'm guessing they might see as a few troublesome MPs, or hope to get rid of, should I say. But I think they're going to be in for a shock, and those MPs will stay being MPs whether they like it or not. And it even says here, in a warning to senior TV presenters such as Nigel Farage, the committee said it will also examine whether paid outside engagements such as MP and media appearances, journalism and speeches could provide a benefit to the public or present a conflict of interest. And at the more extreme end of the spectrum, this could mean a potential ban on presenting gigs for MPs, which ballooned under the last Parliament. And responding to the announcement, GB host Darren Grimes tore into Labour over the apparent hypocrisy surrounding the announcement. He said David Lammy hosted a show on LBC and Labour never saw an issue. When white-leaning MPs get shows, though, with big audiences, well, they must be stopped. I see no issue with MPs having a second job. It ought to be up to their constituents, not Labour, to decide if that's right. And of course it does seem, doesn't it, that Labour doesn't really like this too much.